soon as I start.
Come on, in. Bodhi, come on.
As soon as I press record. In. Typical, isn't it? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie, I hope you're doing well. Well, today is World Book Day. I have my book dress on from Lindy Bop. So I've got my books on, wearing my books. And today I thought I would come on and just have a little discussion about books, about what sort of things I like to read. Just something a little bit different. I thought, why not? Let's do it. I do have another channel and I actually must admit I haven't been on there for probably about a year, I reckon. And it's over on BookTube, and it might I'll pop the link to it below. It's Katie Reads, and I go over there and I do TBRs, or I did. I'm going to start doing them again. TBRs, etc. For reading books for that certain month, or sometimes there's a thing called Booktubeathon, and that usually happens in July sometime, or August. It's either July or August. And what we do is we literally have a list of 7 things, and there are certain books with colours and titles and things like that that you can read. It's basically a challenge, and it's fantastic. So like I say, I'll put the link to my BookTube channel below. But let's get straight on into books that I like to read. So I am a big fan of fantasy novels. As you can see here, we have got quite a nice cast of said Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I started reading it when it did when it first came out. I was living in Lincoln at the time, and I actually used to get the train in and out of work, and that's how I used to sort of pass the time, so to speak. So I've read all of the Harry Potter books here. I've got the picture books as well that that are being released. There isn't one this year, I think, because obviously the books are getting thicker now, because I've got all 3. I've got the Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and The Prisoner of Azkaban, which are those 3. And then we've got all of these. So I think the picture books are going to start getting a little bit bigger, or they're going to start doing them in part 1, part 2, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, so Harry Potter is probably one of my favourite series, and it's something that I like to dip back into every now and then. So let's say Halloween, I give myself a little challenge to reread some of the novels, and I love watching the movies as well. The movies are epic. So that is one of the I've got my coffee here as well, which is I don't know if you'll be able to see that because of the ring light, but my Fantastic Beasts. I'm just going to pop him down there. Other books that I love to read. I got this book, and there's a booktuber called Peter Mom, and his channel is Peter Loves to Read. I'll pop a link below anyway. And he bought The Invention of Hugo Cabret, and it's by Brian Selznick. Now, there are a couple of other books by him that I want to get, and this is basically, if you've seen the film Hugo, this is what this book is all about, and it is a great one to get your kids started into reading, because it's literally, I mean, there are some like books of words and things like that, but the artwork in here is incredible, like of the automaton, and you know, there's all sorts of things. So you've got like all of these fantastic kind of like pictures and artwork and everything, and of course it's all kind of steampunk, and everyone knows, or if you know me, I do like my steampunk. So this is a fantastic book. I actually got this from Amazon. It was a second-hand, you know, you can get your books second-hand from there. So I got that from there, and I love it. I think it's such a great book just to dip into. I mean, look at that. That artwork is just incredible. So that is one of my favourites that I like to dip into, and I'm trying to buy hardback books so I can keep the ones that I like. Now, another book that I really enjoyed was, and has also been turned into a film, which I haven't seen yet, is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And this is by Ransom Riggs. Now, the way this book was written, Ransom Riggs used to like going around junk shops, thrift stores, etc., and finding really, really old pictures. So really peculiar photographs. And literally, he had all of these photographs, and I'll just show you some while I'm talking. He basically wrote the story around these particular old, like, Victorian style pictures. And, you know, it's a fantastic, fantastic book. I don't know. The pictures are just amazing as well. I love anything kind of vintage, or, as you know, steampunk, as I've already said. But this, I mean, look, these are the sort of pictures that he used to get. And he basically wrote this. It's a trilogy of books. And we've got Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. There's Hello City and The Library of Souls. But a fantastic read. I would really recommend this. I thought it was a really, really good book. Now, I know some of these books you're probably thinking, well, you're in your 40s, but I do enjoy reading YA fantasy. I love also historical fiction as well, but we shall get on to that in a second. I'm currently in the middle of a series, and it's The City of Bones. I've just currently finished The City of Glass. The next one in the series that I've got to read is The City of Fallen Angels. So that's the next one. I've got another 3 in this particular series to finish, and then that's that series finished. But then there's others that kind of spider off from there. I got these from Costco, actually. It was the whole series for 12 quid, which I thought was really good. But you can actually get these books in the Works sometimes, so you can get the whole series in the Works, so keep your eye out for those. Basically, it's about this girl, and they're brought up as shadow hunters. She didn't know she was a shadow hunter, and it's about her story about going after her father and stuff like that. So it's a really, really, really good series. I would definitely recommend that. Again, YA fantasy. It could get a bit at times, but you know. And just on sort of like the last bit of children's books, I went to America a couple of years ago. Not last year, the year before. Or was it last year? No, it was the year before. We went to New York, and I had to go into Barnes & Noble, and I went and got their version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They call it the Sorcerer's Stone. Why? I don't know. I've never really found that out, but this is the American version, and yeah, so I had to have that just to say that I've got one from America. I mean, some of the books I had in Barnes & Noble were amazing, but obviously my luggage count would not suffice for that. So I better get on, because I'm already 8 minutes in. I've only got a couple of books left anyway. So the next book is a classic, and this is by Charles Dickens, and it is Hard Times. I had to read this for my Open University. I'm currently studying English literature, and with the view to hopefully to becoming a primary school teacher. So we shall see how that goes. And this was one of the set texts that we had to read last year. I was like, oh, Charles Dickens, because way back when I was at university, I studied Great Expectations, and I hated every minute of that book. I'm going to revisit, because I think my tastes, my attitudes, and my outlook on life is completely different to what I was when I was in my late teens, early 20s. So this is about basically working in the cotton mills, etc., in Manchester, and the squalid conditions, etc. It's such a good read. Most of Charles Dickens' books are set down in London. This is one of his very few that he has set up north, and I think that's why I like it so much. So I would definitely recommend this book to read. Now, one of my another series that I'm currently in the middle of is the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon, and this is the 3rd book in the series. I have watched some of I think the first 2 series the first 1.5. I haven't finished the 2nd series yet of the televised version of this. I think I'm halfway through the 2nd series. I had Game of Thrones to watch because I hadn't watched that either, but that's a whole different story. So this is the third book, it's Voyager. I'm also listening to this on audio as well, so whenever I'm travelling or what have you, because it's quite a hefty book to take, I'll listen to it on audio. And I use Audible, and it's basically $7.99 a month, and you get 1 free credit. And I think that's fantastic, because usually the books can be about like £20-30 to get on audio. So I think it's probably a little bit of a better, more financially better way of getting the books. And sometimes they throw in a few little freebies, etc. So Audible is always a good way to go as well. If you're on the go and you haven't got time just to sit down and read, but you still want to kind of have that sense of reading, because I still think it's, you know, it's just like listening to a radio play or something like that. So this is basically about a lady who goes back in time, and she's on her honeymoon in the first book. She I won't obviously give spoilers or anything if you want to read it. She goes on honeymoon with her husband, and they go up to Inverness, and she puts her hands on these stones, and then ends up going back to the 15th century and the time of the Jacobites, etc. And in September last year, me and my husband went up to the Moray Firth, and we went to the battle where they had the Battle of Culloden and everything. Oh, it was amazing. But I went up there thinking they filmed it up there. Oh, no. They'd filmed it further south, somewhere near Fort William. So I'm going to have to book some holidays to go there, because I really want to go and have a look at where they filmed the series, because the place is absolutely fantastic. And my last book, I'm just going to get it down here, it's a fantastic story, and this is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Now, I love Alice in Wonderland, and this book is fantastic because it actually has all of the kind of original artwork in here. So I just love Alice in Wonderland. It's always been one of my favourites, and who wouldn't love to just disappear and go into a world of nonsense? Although some of you may think that I live in a world of nonsense. Never mind. Maybe I'm the normal one. You never know. So this is, like I say, one of my favourite stories. I have lots more. I hope you've enjoyed just having a look through some of my favourite stories and what I am currently reading at the moment for World Book Day. And well, World Book Day should be every day, because I think everybody should read a book, because it is, one, is a fantastic way to escape. Two, you can go on any adventure you want to without leaving the safety of your reading nook. And three, I just think it's a great way of gaining knowledge, whether you read non-fiction or fiction. So I just think if you're not a reader, just try it. Even if you listen to some audiobooks, just try it. Honestly, you will love it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe. It would mean the world to me. You take care of yourselves, take care of everybody else. And remember, the world is your catwalk. Keep reading!